Hi everyone, welcome back to Design Craft channel. This month, I'll be sharing some mini and quick crochet projects that are fun and easy to make. Today, we're making a cute little earth planet. You can use blue and green or mix and match your favorite colors to create your own unique earth. That's perfect for using up leftover yarn. Before we start, let me show you the tools and materials you'll need. I'm using 4-ply cotton yarn in blue and green. You'll also need a 2.5mm crochet hook, a yarn needle, stuffing with a stuffing tool, a pair of scissors, and a stitch marker if needed. Alright, let's get everything ready and start crocheting the earth. Pick the blue color and make a magic ring. Then work 6 single crochet into the ring. Once done, pull the yarn tail tight to close the ring and make a slip stitch into the first stitch to finish the round. For round 1, start with a chain, then work an increase in every stitch, which means 2 single crochet in 1 stitch. You can place a stitch marker in the first stitch to make it easier to find when closing the round. I always use the yarn under technique, which is X stitch, because it helps keep your stitches straight with less slanting. By the end of the round, you will have 12 stitches. Make a slip stitch into the first stitch to end the round. For round 2, start with a chain, then work 1 single crochet followed by 1 increase. Repeat this sequence a total of 6 times. By the end of the round, you will have 18 stitches. Make a slip stitch into the first stitch to finish the round. For round 3, we'll be working with both blue and green yarn. Begin with a chain, then work 1 increase, followed by 2 single crochets. Next, make another increase. Since the next stitch requires a color change, switch to green yarn at the final step of the previous stitch. To do this, pick up your green yarn, yarn over with it, and pull through. Now, using the green yarn, work 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Then, make 1 increase. Switch back to blue yarn and work 2 single crochets. Remember to leave enough yarn at the back, don't pull it too tight, and crochet over the yarn tail to secure it. Followed by 1 increase, and then 2 more single crochets. Next, switch to green yarn again, and make 1 increase. Switch back to blue yarn and work 2 single crochets, one increase, and 2 single crochets. Finally, make a slip stitch into the first stitch to end the round. You should have a total of 24 stitches at the end of this round. For round 4, begin with a chain. Work 3 single crochets, then 1 increase, next work 1 single crochet. Switch to green yarn in the final step of the stitch to prepare for the color change in the next stitch. Remember to leave enough yarn at the back and do not pull it too tight. Then work 2 single crochets, followed by 1 increase, and then 3 single crochets. After that, switch back to blue yarn and work 1 increase, then 3 single crochets. Switch to green yarn again and work 1 increase. Then 3 single crochets. Then switch back to blue yarn work 1 increase, and 3 single crochets. Switch to green yarn again and work 1 increase. Finally, switch back to blue yarn and make a slip stitch into the first stitch to end the round. You should have a total of 30 stitches at the end of this round. For round 5, begin with a chain, work 2 single crochets, then 1 increase, next work 2 single crochets, switch to green yarn in preparation for the color change in the next stitch. Work 2 single crochets, followed by 1 increase, and then 3 single crochets. After that, switch back to blue yarn and work 1 single crochet, followed by 1 increase, then 4 single crochets. Next, work 1 increase, but make it with 1 stitch in blue and the other in green. Then work 4 single crochets, after that, work 1 increase, and 1 single crochet, then switch back to blue yarn and work 3 single crochets. Next, work 1 increase, switch to green yarn again and work 2 single crochets. Finally, make a slip stitch into the first stitch to end the round. You should have a total of 36 stitches at the end of this round. For round 6, continue with the green yarn and begin with a chain. Work 1 single crochet, then switch to blue yarn and work 7 single crochets. Next, switch to green yarn and work 6 single crochets. Then switch to blue yarn and work 3 single crochets. Next, switch to green yarn and work 2 single crochets. Then switch to blue yarn and work 4 single crochets. Next, switch to green yarn again and work 4 single crochets. Then switch to blue yarn and work 9 single crochets. Finally, make a slip stitch into the first stitch to end the round. You should have a total of 36 stitches at the end of this round. For round 7, continue with the blue yarn and begin with a chain. Work 6 single crochet. Next, switch to green yarn and work 6 single crochets. Then switch to blue yarn and work 4 single crochets. Next, switch to green yarn and work 4 single crochets. Then switch to blue yarn and work 5 single crochets. Next, switch to green yarn again and work 2 single crochets. Then switch to blue yarn and work 9 single crochets. Finally, make a slip stitch into the first stitch to end the round. For rounds 8 to 11, follow the written pattern to continue building up the earth. Count the green and blue stitches carefully. After completing round 11, the earth will look like this. For round 12, begin with a chain. Work 2 single crochets. Followed by 1 invisible decrease. To make the invisible decrease, insert your hook into the front loops of the next 2 stitches, yarn under and pull through both loops, then yarn under again and pull through all loops. Then work 2 single crochets. Repeat this sequence a total of 4 times. Next, work 1 single crochet, then switch to green yarn and work 1 single crochet. Switch back to blue yarn. Continue with 1 invisible decrease, then 4 single crochets. Next, work 1 invisible decrease followed by 2 single crochets. Finally, make a slip stitch into the first stitch to end the round. You should have a total of 30 stitches at the end of this round. For rounds 13 to 16, follow the written pattern until the end. Remember to fill the piece with polyester fiber before closing the hole. When finished, cut the yarn and use a needle to weave through all the front loops to close the hole neatly. To make it even cuter, you can embroider a cute face on it. I worked mine around round 9 with about 5 stitches between the eyes. And that's how you crochet this cute little earth. I hope you enjoyed today's mini amigurumi project. You can make more earths in different colors and turn them into keychains, bag charms, decorations, or gifts for your friends and family. Thank you so much for crocheting along with me. And share your creations with me. I'd love to see your adorable earths. See you in the next crochet tutorial.